Hey everybody, Graham here. So, I don't really do politics on this channel. At least I have no intention of doing politics on this channel. I have my opinions like everyone. I have my beliefs, I have my principles, but my experience with political debate over the years is that basically people treat it like football, which is to say that, they pick a team and that's their team. And, people who might tend to think one way will often sort of, I think, adjust their own opinions to be in line with that of whatever political tribe they happen to identify with. If it matters to you, I tend to lean a little bit conservative, not 100%, but mostly. But regardless, it doesn't really matter. Anyway, the big news, of course, this week is the Russia and Ukraine situation, and there's nothing I can do about that. People say thoughts and prayers, and then other people say, oh, thoughts and prayers is just useless. Well, I mean, what can I do besides think and pray, right? I'm not in Russia or the Ukraine. I'm not in government. I can throw my support behind politicians that want to do what I want and withdraw my support from politicians who don't. That's pretty much all I can do. And there's not another election for a while yet. So, we're kind of stuck with the situation as it is. So, yeah, thoughts and prayers is kind of useless, but yeah, thoughts and prayers is what we've got. But there are people who take the thoughts and prayers thing to a level that is just I don't even know what to say. I tend to refer to these people as the Kumbaya contingent. These are the people who have some sort of magical belief that appealing to the niceness in everyone can stop wars. And while I agree that there are probably personality types that are more inclined towards war making than others, it kind of ignores all of the geopolitical realities that exist. Being a little bit older than the average YouTuber, and in fact, being a Gen Xer, I grew up in the 80s, which was a decade of very pointed nuclear brinksmanship. And there was a very popular song by Sting back then called Russians, I think was the title, but the hook is I hope the Russians love their children too, or something like that. But it was basically Sting saying nuclear war is scary and the Russians' love for their children will prevent it. And that's there may be a grain of truth to that, but again, the average Russian has no more influence over what the Russian government does than I have over what the US government does. So the Russians may love their children, but the geopolitical realities that push the Russian government into doing certain things, that doesn't change because the Russians love their children. Anyway, there were a couple of Kumbaya contingent videos that popped out recently that I just wanted to share because they are just so absolutely stupid in their approach to this that I don't even know what to think. It's frustrating that people have this idea because it's pure romanticism and there's nothing that it helps. I mean, maybe it helps them feel better, but I don't know. Anyway, take a look at this one first. So we have the Russian and Ukrainian children, which you can tell by the flags painted on them, and they're hugging each other and oh, isn't that nice? We can all appreciate the innocence of children, and it's very cute to see babies hugging and it tugs at the heartstrings and everything like that, but babies fight too. If you don't believe that, you don't have siblings. So, then there's this.
Dear President Vladimir Putin, I'm so sorry that I was not your mother. If I was your mother, you would have been so loved, held in the arms of joyous light. Never would the stories plight the world unfurled before our eyes, a pure demise of nations sitting peaceful under a night sky. If I was your mother, the world would have been warm, So much laughter and joy, and nothing would harm. I can't imagine the stain, the soul stealing pain that the little boy you must have seen and believed, and the formulation of thought quickly taught that you lived in a cruel, unjust world.
Right? I mean, okay, so this woman is Amber Lynn McCord, and she is an actress. She's probably best known for her role on the 90210 reboot that nobody watched. I mean, she's very attractive, but attractiveness is not the same thing as intelligence or wisdom. But she's written this poem about how if she were Putin's mother, Putin would have been so loved that he wouldn't have invaded Ukraine. Now, first of all, I think this is probably pretty insulting to Putin's actual mother. I don't think Amberlyn McCord knows anything about Putin's actual mother. I don't know anything about Putin's mother. But she's sort of implying here that Putin's mother didn't love him enough to keep him from becoming a warmonger. That's stupid thing number one. Stupid thing number two is thinking that if she did manage to raise him with an abundance of compassion and a disdain for war, that he would have become the Russian premier in the first place. People who are extremely compassionate and cannot detach from that are not effective leaders, and they don't rise to power. And that's just the way it is. I mean, when you say to yourself, why are all these people in power seem to be so out of touch or so removed from the attitudes of people that I know, it's not because they lack compassion or anything like that. It's because they're able to detach from compassion. Some situations require an uncompassionate response. Now, I'm not trying to justify the invasion here. I'm just saying that if you don't have the ability to detach from compassion and deal with a situation in a way that's going to resolve the situation such that it's fixed either permanently or, as best as it can be, despite the effect that it may have collaterally, then you can't be an effective leader and you will not rise to power. You will choke when push comes to shove, and you will fold and you will be defeated. And mostly those people tend not to rise in politics because you have to have that ability to play the political game in the first place. And when you've honed your skills in the political game and you rise to power, then you get to use those abilities on the world stage. So, point being that A, Amberlyn is dissing Putin's mom, whom she doesn't know anything about, and B, making the assumption that if she were Putin's mom, Putin still would have risen to power, yet somehow not have done this, which seems ridiculous. And then there's the third ridiculous thing about this, which is that putting up a poem on the internet about how compassionate you are seems more like aggrandizing yourself than it does about being concerned about the actual war. So, I mean, I'm pretty concerned about the actual war, but like I said, there's really not much I can do with it. I can say my thoughts and prayers go out to the Ukrainian people, but that's really about all I can do. I mean, like I said, I can support or not support various politicians. I can protest or something. I can't remember the last time a protest really had an effect on much of anything. The last big protests I remember were the Occupy Wall Street thing, and as far as I can tell, Wall Street is still there and still doing fine. So, what I'm saying is that the Kumbaya contingent has a fundamentally infantile view of how things work in the world. There's a lot at stake in the world, and to just reduce all of it to you have a personality problem is so simplistic and so immature that it's amazing that these people are not ashamed to put this stuff online. And that's about what I have to say about that. Anyway, that's about it. I wanted to address this because it's just so freaking stupid. And social media just makes it way too easy for these people to put themselves on display. So, anyway, hope you have a good day, especially if you're in the Ukraine. And for the rest of you, you know, have a good one, and I will see you in the next one. And Graham out. Bye.